Hello, my name is Lindsay Reed, and I teach fifth grade English Language Arts. This is my sixth artifact addressing Standard 3.1, Criterion 8, Social Responsibility and Empathy, Standard 3.2, Criterion 10, Safe, Ethical, and Legal Use, and Standard 3.4, Criterion 11, Responsible Use, including protection of digital identity and personal data. All these standards are related to digital citizenship. My name is Lindsay Reed, and I currently teach fifth grade language arts. I used my digital citizenship project to meet Standard 3.1, Criterion 8, to implement learning experiences for fourth grade students to be empathetic and socially responsible. For this standard, I developed two lessons. The first lesson was called Sticks and Stones. I wanted students to think about how empathy can be practiced in a digital setting and why it is important to be empathetic. In this lesson, students worked with peers to read through scenarios, identify the concerns, and find solutions where empathy is displayed. My second lesson was called What If Everybody Did That? I wanted students to think about how they can be responsible digital citizens and what can happen when students are not responsible. In this lesson, students participated in a Nearpod collaboration board to grasp an understanding of the difference between requirements and expectations. We read the book titled What If Everybody Did That and discussed the scenarios presented in the book. Then we discussed some realistic scenarios for our classroom and community and how we can show responsibility. My name is Lindsay Reed, and I am currently teaching fifth grade language arts. I used my Digital Citizen project to meet Standard 3.3 Criterion 10 to implement learning experiences for fourth grade students to learn and practice online safety, ethical, and legal use, including intellectual property. For this standard, I developed two lessons. The first lesson is titled Avoid Plagiarism, Avoid Trouble. I wanted students to learn how to avoid plagiarism when completing research and notes for writing tasks and the consequences involved in it. For this lesson, we reviewed specific vocabulary for the topic, including plagiarism, paraphrase, citations, and bibliography. I wanted students to practice paraphrasing information and using direct quotes. To practice this, we used the school-approved websites like PebbleGoNext and TrueFlix to find information about a relevant topic in science or social studies. I pulled specific sections of the text and had students practice putting the information in their own words. Then we practiced the same section, how to put it in an essay using direct quotes. We did several more practices with this during the writing workshop. We also practiced this skill when we revised the mentor sentence each week. My second lesson was titled, Am I a Good Digital Citizen? Focused on understanding the 9 elements of digital citizenship. I wanted students to demonstrate an understanding of the 9 elements of digital citizenship and identify the elements that are most relevant to students in upper elementary school. In this lesson, students explored the meaning of digital citizenship and the definition and description of each of the 9 elements. They did this through a jigsaw activity splitting up into 9 groups of 2 to 3 students. Each group became experts on understanding one of the 9 elements of digital citizenship. Students created an anchor chart to deliver the information to the rest of the class. These anchor charts were posted on the wall after they presented them to the other students for students to reference as needed. Each anchor chart includes a real-world example that applies to the specific element they studied. My name is Lindsay Reed, and I currently teach fifth grade language arts. I used my digital citizenship project to meet Standard 3.4 Criterion 11 to implement learning experiences for fourth grade students to model responsible use, including protection of digital identity and personal data. For this standard, I developed two lessons. The first lesson is titled, Don't Be Mean Behind the Screen. I wanted students to understand what cyberbullying is and how they can respond to cyberbullying. I also wanted them to understand the effects of cyberbullying on others. For this lesson, students shared what they think cyberbullying is and personal experiences they have had with it. We discussed the definition of cyberbullying and some of the solutions they either used or could have used in their own experiences. Then I posted 5 scenarios on 5 separate anchor chart papers around the room. These scenarios were real experiences I have dealt with in my classroom to ensure the scenarios were relevant to this age group. Students moved around the room in groups of 4 to 5 students visiting each anchor chart. They would read and discuss the scenario and the actions that students, teachers, and parents can take in response to the instance of cyberbullying. Each group wrote a suggestion on a Post-it note and stuck it to the anchor chart. We ended the class with a discussion and sharing some of the suggestions posted. The second lesson was titled Stay Safe, Be Successful. I wanted students to make sure they know how to protect themselves online by not sharing personal information and knowing which websites and apps are safe to use. The school network can protect students to a point, but it is important for students to be able to protect themselves when they are using digital devices outside of school. For this lesson, I showed students how to access the school and county approved websites and apps through the Canvas platform, which is what Cherokee County uses as their learning management platform. Using the resources purchased through the county will ensure online safety as they have been researched and previewed before being released for student use. We know the information on these resources is true and reliable. Students worked in partners to explore one of the resources from the approved list. They posted the name of the resource, information that can be accessed within the resource, and examples of how and when others can use the resource to a discussion board in Canvas. Students can access the discussion board for future reference when searching for a tool or resource they need.